I'm actually going live immediately after we finish this here thing. I'm in.
Welcome to space. What were you expecting? It's a dangerous place. Thank you for investing. Go there for your rota, there for your orders. Fill up these quotas, we'll bill for your quarters. Report to your foreman, but watch for marauders. Cause if you get eaten, there's fees for your mourners. Prosperity's there in the care of magnates. In halcyon heaven awaits. Did you think it was supposed to look like the poster? It mostly does, oh, if you'd only read closer. Just 10 short years to a new frontier. Snooze as you cruise and you'll wake up here. You've been trapped in that ship for an awful long time, so perhaps you have simply forgot what you signed. Oh, honestly, did you not read the colony policy that defined you as company property? That waivers your say in autonomy. The conglomerates got you in lock and key. We put the dollar back into idolatry. If you're upset, you can rent an apology. We are a family forged in bureaucracy. No I in team, but there's con in economy. Were you expecting adventure? Were you hoping for fun? My friend, you're indentured and pleasure's exempt from your tenure. So venture back down to your slum that's provided at generous prices. Your worth is determined by your sacrifices. A small term of service went down on the surface. Internment's a freebie that comes with the purchase. We work to earn the right to work. 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 To earn the right to give ourselves the right to die. Ourselves the right to live. To earn the right to die.
To our little town, why don't you settle down? You just fill out the paperwork and you could look around. We're happy as can be inside the valley cannery. We live to pack the cans of meat and not to question where it's found until we end up in the ground around the corner in the yard. You know, we thought we liked the sound of finding glory in the stars. The borders taught us to be proud of never reaching very far. So we earn what we're allowed and give it right back at the bar.
The ale to cure what ails you. Zero G brew, your favorite flavor. So work till you bleed, ennobled by labor, then purchase relief from your local retailer. If you'd rather drop dead, that's fine, but you know to drop it down dead, there's a fine. So you do your job and I'll do mine. I gotta meet a 6 foot deep bottom line. We make a fortune for the board by selling boredom door to door, because it's all that we deserve and it is all we can afford. The secrets of the universe and all the worlds to be explored, but our dreams are back on earth and now the work is our reward. And you'll be grateful for seats at the table, though it dips at one end and the bench is unstable. You may waste your days, but at least you were able to pay off your grave since we leased you your cradle. Be faithful and pray, we'll repay what you invest. Behave as you slave for humanity's interest. On account that you're all on account and we're quickly amounting humanity's interest. You'd think that we'd sink to the brink of rebellion with markets dependent on peddling weapons. The architect tells them the secret to heaven is simply consuming whatever we sell them. We work to earn the right to work. 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 To earn the right to give ourselves the right to buy. Ourselves the right to live. To earn the right to die. Should've read the fine print, my friend. Should've read the fine print. You should've read the fine print, my friend. Should've read the fine print. Welcome to our little town. Why don't you settle down? You just fill out the paperwork and you can look around. We work and then 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 we end up in the ground. Welcome to our little town. Why don't you settle down? You just fill out the paperwork and you can look around. We work and then we work and then we work and then we work and then we work. Should've read the fine print. Here and here and initial here. Welcome to the family.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the BS I get up to when I'm bored. Bob, if you can show me like some gang signs from the Christian Orthodoxy or something, I'll go ahead and pop you up. That'll do. All right, you don't have to be on camera when you're up if you don't want to be. Come on, it's not even doing it. What's up? Yeah, there we go.
How's it going, Cash?
Oh, pretty spiffy. I was bored. Figured I'd do something. I was doing another show, and I was like, I can just roll them into here, and they like bounced completely off, but it was worth a shot, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you were trying to reach me by email, and by the way, I've banned email 100%. Like, I don't pay attention to email. My
Yeah, I get it.
My partners actually all hate me. They're like, "Did you see the email come in?" I'm like, "No, I don't read email anymore. It's just too much spam. It's just ridiculous." But I have actually wanted to have a conversation with you for a long time, for months.
All right. Well, this is the panel to do it on, because this is straight up Panelverse BS. I was just sitting around. I've got a video set up. We can deal with it when we get to it. If we ever do, it doesn't matter if we do. Let me change my background so that I don't offend my other people's.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, and the reason I was talking about the email and all that stuff is, actually, I find you one of the more interesting characters in the Panelverse.
I can't control what you do when I'm not around, bro.
But I'm just saying, like, you're always very. I have this big thing about stoicism, being stoic and like not anger, and I don't ever see you get angry. And when you do speak up, you usually have pretty good advice. It's usually well thought out, whether I agree with it or not. I've always appreciated you.
That is you, Em. I can tell that's you.
What's that?
Sorry. She has horrible mic protocols over there. She's always having sound problems. This is M's Mad World. Vibe, M's Mad World.
M, I don't think I've met you before. Pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Stoicism. You're good. Just mute up when you're not talking. You'll be good. So the stoicism, right? You have to remember, I was raised in the Bible Belt in a culture that didn't really care what sect of Christianity you attended, as long as you attended one every Sunday and probably Wednesdays and sometimes on Thursday revivals. And towards the end of my religious experience, I got really involved in a Southern Baptist church because the preacher's daughter was a redhead about a year younger than me, and she was smoking hot, Brad. She was so smoking hot that I was one of the guys that led people to the pews, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I was working in the church, and it was a very early expression of the modern Sasquatch is where I first learned that I had a knack for public speaking, because something would go wrong and someone would have to tell the congregation that, hey, it's going to be a few minutes. We've got this, that, and the other. And I just fit like a shoe, like an old shoe, bro. It just fit. And then not long after that, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to get none. And I didn't like that. Right. I'm not candy coating it. I'm telling you exactly what happened. I didn't have a breach of faith. I had a breach of panties. That was the problem. Yeah. And I also watched a movie called Leap of Faith. And I remembered while watching the movie, standing there at the front of that group of people and having them hang on every single word I said, not because that's what they're supposed to do, but because, God damn it, I was good at it.
And then where does that bring you today, right? So you had that Baptist upbringing, and I've heard you kind of support Christianity and go against it on some of the panels. Like, where do you find your faith today?
And at this point, it's kind of an interesting thing. I married a Lutheran, a non-practicing Lutheran. Okay. Non-practicing Lutheran, non-voting Democrat, and I'm very conservative myself. So after we voted in a few elections, we looked at each other and was like, you realize we're just canceling each other's votes out? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, fine. So can we skip all of this shit? And the last election we voted in was Obama, right? But here's the thing. Does it cancel out the vote? On its surface, it does. One Democrat, one Republican. That pretty much neutralizes it, right?
I mean, this is really interesting. I mean, I had no idea where this conversation was going to go, but like, so Sarah did a debate on Fatty's channel about like being equally yoked. And so what you're saying is that your wife and you, but you're, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you and your wife are actually pretty well established for a long period of time.
Oh yeah, we've been married almost 20 years. You guys
have a really good relationship, right?
Well, we've been married almost 20 years, and barring some problems here and there, we all have them. We all have them. Right. It's been steady. We're not planning on divorcing anytime soon. It might not be an entirely conventional marriage, but at the same time, it works.
Yeah, because I was thinking through that, like when men are like, and women even sometimes even say women shouldn't have vote. It should just be the men, or it should be the landholders or whatever. And I always kind of look at it in the sense that I think I am pretty equally yoked with my wife, and my wife will look at me for advice on how she should vote. Therefore, I love that women can vote because I feel like I have a double vote, right? Like, hey, I can just tell my wife what to do. And it's not because she goes, oh, well, you're the master. Oh, I obey to you. She actually trusts my advice. She trusts my logic. She's like, why would you want to vote for that person? And I say this. And she says, yes, then I'll vote for that too. And I would say 98% of the time she'll agree with me. 2% of the time she'll be like, I don't agree with that. So in a sense, I love that women can vote because my wife will pretty much vote any way I do. Therefore, I have a double vote. But like you were just saying, you guys negate each other, right?
That's the way it seems, at least in national elections. We don't discuss politics a whole lot. Here's the funny thing. I met this chick, fell in love, got married, and until Trump's first term, politics was never mentioned. Mm-hmm. Not once in 8 years of marriage and almost 12 years of dating or whatever it was. Would never discuss politics even once as anything more significant than, well, there should be universal health care. That would just break the bank. Now we'd have to work it out. Yeah, it'd take some serious work. And that was the end of it. That was like, that was it. Pro-abortion, anti-abortion. Well, conception is a thing, but, it should be medical. Yeah, okay. And that was about it. That was the conversation we had, right? So the first political discussion that comes up was at a Christmas gathering, and I was sitting at the table, and one of my wife's sisters is now a transgender man, and they're really standoffish about it. They're really offended about everything. They're really
say that again.
One of my wife's sisters is now a transgender man. Yes, a dude.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole nine. Gotcha. Okay. So this was a problem, linguistic challenge, I should say, not a problem, a linguistic challenge that I had to tackle very early on in all this culture war stuff, and it still trips people up today. That's why I'm able to handle people like Cosmic Fox and whatnot so eloquently. Is I've had people who actually give a shit come at me, like over the dinner table with a knife. Not really, but it was getting there. And then the second political conversation that took place was the very same year, the following Thanksgiving, right? So I guess it was the following year. We got together out there, and her brother comes out on the porch, and I'm smoking my after dinner cigarette over there. And he sits down and says, we're going to have to do something about this First Amendment. I mean, the types of things people are saying online about ARC are just completely unconscionable. And while he was talking, one of the children running around handed me one of those little toy, like Raggedy Ann dolls. And I was sitting there holding the doll, and he went on for a few minutes about, they're spreading misinformation and they're talking all kinds of trash that just ain't true. And we have to be able to lock it down, and you can't just go out and say anything you want. And then he stopped and looked at me and said, what do you think about it? I said, I'll make you a deal, brother. If you can show me on this doll, and I handed it to him, where the bad words hurt you, we can talk about changing the First Amendment, but I still ain't going to do it. He looked at that doll, and the kid ran over and grabbed the doll and run off. And he sat there for a minute, and he looked at me. He's like, Yeah, we're probably going to have to talk about this another time, aren't we? I said, I'd suggest we do, for you at least, because there's not a whole lot of give on that one.
Well, I mean, I'm really surprised you brought up Melanie as well, right? Cosmic Fox. I don't know if you saw me on 10th Man. I mean, you were there, weren't you? I don't remember.
I might have been there.
No, you weren't there. I was on 10th Man's
Maybe.
2 days ago, right? And Melanie and 10th were just going at it for like 2 hours. And then I came on panel, and then 10th Man actually just put Melanie and I up together. And we had a really good conversation on my beliefs, because I do believe that a lot of this trans philosophy that we have today is subject from, is a result of gender. That we actually say that men behave like this, women behave like this. If you are a man and your personality doesn't fit in that, society will tell you that because there's a gender associated with that, you will defect from your own sex. Not because your sex is not valid, but because society tells you that there's this gender spectrum that exists, which I don't think exists. But because there's a gender spectrum, then we give this open capability of that happening. And Melanie and I had a great conversation on that. He opened up and said, like, he's like, if it wasn't shoved down, he's like, when I was born as a young kid at like 6 years old, it was being shoved down my throat. I was supposed to be playing with footballs. And I was like, well, if it wasn't shoved down your throat, Melanie, couldn't it have been that you could actually be a male today? Maybe you like dresses, maybe you like long hair, but still actually enjoy being a male, right? And I mean, it was a very civil and a really good conversation. And he dug deep. He admitted a lot of things and kind of conceded to the conversation in the sense that we're kind of going crazy in society today with these made up things that, and I know you say you're conservative, which is left, that I say like the leftists, maybe the right prescribed the
I think
gender.
you've got me misunderstood, sir. I'm conservative like Genghis Khan was conservative. I'm slightly right of Attila the Hun. I believe fully that we should all do what I say. But if we're not going to do that, we're going to have to do this voting thing and make it work. It's going to have to actually be fair. That's some bullshit.
So how do we make the voting fair?
I mean, the whole IDs is a good start. I'm thinking like a thumbprint of blood on each one.
I mean, wouldn't you take a little bit further? Like, should we make voting mandatory?
Okay, I've game theoried this out a little bit. This was back in like the mid 90s when I did this in a class. If you make voting mandatory, that means that all of the homeless people on the street, all the crazy people in the gutters, and all of the lost souls across the world, across the U.S. will also vote. A lot of these people don't have the mental capacity by which to actually have those types of opinion. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that some of these people aren't the people that you want voting for, futures.
This is true.
Just in general.
And I mean, let's break down voting because this is really interesting. What is, so, I mean, this is a fact. So I think you can concede to this, is that the majority of the population that does vote shows up for presidential elections. When it is the midterms and things like that, you get a slower percentage of people showing up.
A lot of people phone it in. Yeah.
And when it's your local government, almost nobody shows up.
True. And that is a huge, huge oversight in the American civic sense. Yeah. This largely started becoming a problem back when they started taking the social sciences out of high schools. When you no longer took civics and you no longer took like the international social studies type courses that explained things like international trade and international treaties and things like this, because this shit, it's mentioned in passing in high school. It's not gone over as a part of our founding, documents of our government. That whole Moorish friendship thing. You've heard of the Moorish friendship treaties? Mm-hmm. And Moorish nationals that travel the states as though they're sovereign citizens of a nation that doesn't apparently exist or something. Right. Maybe it's Mauritania. Anyway, that is basically saying anytime America encounters more, we will pass by them in a friendly manner. That is it. We're not going to fire at you. We're not going to take your shit. We're not going to invade your fucking country. We're not going to freaking kidnap your people. We're not doing any of that. And we expect you to not do that to us. That does not mean you get free reign across the entire contiguous U.S. Sorry. That is a you problem, not an us problem.
Right. Okay, so we've got that type of scenario, but that doesn't really explain the voting. And something that I think is really important when it comes to voting is a lot of people complain online that we have no control of this system. And I would actually say one of the reasons we don't have control of this system, and I don't think we should make everybody vote, but I think if we were more actively locally, which is the lowest percentage in votes, and you know what, actually, I'm going to go back up to the presidential election. When people actually, the majority of people do show up for the presidential election, and they go, I'm going to vote for Kamala or I'm going to vote for Trump. That's what they walk into the booth to do. But then there's like 50 other things they're voting on that they never researched, they don't even know, and they're just randomly checking boxes on it, like a test they didn't study for, right? So here they show up to vote for a president, but they're completely ignorant about everything else that's on the ballot. And that actually does extend all the way down to the local governments. And this is one of the, I always do the mail-in votes just so I can get the packet and so I can read through it. I can research it. And I fill it up before I actually even like make a decision. I don't just like randomly show up based on TV commercials of what I'm going to vote for. But I think that if we were to do that locally and not have that mentality that we do nationally, that Donald Trump and Kamala Harris wouldn't be our running presidents, because people care so much about what's happening locally that that would breed better presidents for what we potentially are looking at, because it starts locally. Those locals all over the state create a governor. The governors all kind of create a senator and congressman, and they create a president, right? They're the ones that are pushing that up. And because everybody's ignoring the bottom, the top is a bunch of shit.
I believe that the top is a bunch of shit because it has been purchased by the ability to do insider trading and make very low fines for doing so, the ability to take on money from outside of the nation without really a whole lot of holds on that. I mean, there's some hurdles to jump through, but it can be done. A lot of the issues with your local problems are also from taking on outside money, because if one of these Soros DAs didn't have the funding they had, they would not have been elected. They would have had to compete on equal terms with the locals that were also competing in those particular elections. But because they had hypothetical Soros money, they were able to do TV spots, internet ads, all kinds of stuff that's just not typically done in local elections. Or
well,
you generally can't afford in local elections.
I could concede to that for like New York and LA, but the majority of America is not.
I'm south of Atlanta. I'm south of Atlanta, and twice we've had some wild card folks that popped up with strange agendas and weird money rolling in, and the people around here are just like, why do you have green hair, and vote against them? Why do you have a nose ring, sir? And they vote against them. God bless these salt of the earth people. So up to this point, we've been relatively lucky locally, but you go 45 minutes an hour north of where I'm at, and suddenly you're in deep blue, been held since the mid 60s territory. That is urbanite central up there. They're the reason Georgia's a swing state.
But I mean, we can't kind of look at the majority of the United States as not being those type of areas where you need outside money to actually run. The majority of the United States, outside of New York and LA, and I don't know, Minneapolis and Chicago, Detroit, the majority of where people actually live don't need any outside money to run locally, right? It's only in those states or those cities that are.
But it's not so just big. Outside money. That's the thing, is the entire apparatus around the blue side has been motivated to sort of share resources amongst themselves in a way that Republicans and conservatives just do not do. Right. So you might be able to get a spot on like a Vosh podcast or a Destiny podcast if you are a habitually blue voter and you've got all the right talking points that you might can get on there and have that conversation. Try that shit with a red podcaster. It ain't gonna happen. They're not even going to look at you unless you happen to be in their state and capable of changing something they're interested in, because everybody has an agenda, even if it's just making more money.
Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that there's an agenda behind every action. I wouldn't even understand why you would actually have an action without an agenda, right?
Sure. I mean, certainly. You know how First Amendment auditors are created?
No.
Cops overstep their bounds and do something they shouldn't, and an individual gets some aspect of it on film, and they win that case. And from there, they film everything police related. And sometimes it turns into a career, and sometimes it turns into jail time. But if you have a good lawyer first.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing that I'm really interested in as well. And I mean we're kind of jumping all over the place, but it's fun.
Yeah, sure.
When it comes
I got
to the
no
auditor,
topic, man. So don't expect me to peg it down to anything. I'm either going to get a cup of coffee or start drinking here in a little bit. We'll see.
No, but it is fun. Like the auditors, the First Amendment auditors, right? They're really big on ICE right now. And I have a 21-year-old son about to turn 22. I go down to his bedroom and he's got anarchy symbols on his jacket, and I found some fuck ICE pamphlets that he's handing out, and
Sure.
I'm like, and I'm vibe. I'm the Christian right? Like, how can my 21-year-old son be, who, by the way,
sir,
yeah,
I would be very disappointed in you if your son wasn't exactly like that.
yeah, no, and you know what? I'm glad that he's exploring these things, and like I'm not shunning him or punishing him for it, but it does make me go like, what went wrong here? What is he not seeing? Especially because when I got married, I actually was living in another country. I got married in another country. He was born in another country, and we spent thousands of dollars to like make everybody American when we all moved here to America. So he's not even from here. And he's like running around saying "fuck ICE," and he doesn't know how. Like we spent like $20,000 getting the whole family legal here because we were all born in another country. So like it baffles me where he's just like hating them. And then I realized, okay, if we break it down to the base, and I mean, I guess this is a question I think you would probably agree with me here, is that I think actually having strict immigration rules is good. And having an enforcement arm behind that is good. However, under Trump, we have expanded ICE so fast with so many unqualified people, like 20 days of training. A 21-year-old goes in the ICE training, has no experience, has no background, doesn't know how to de-escalate. It's not that ICE, the idea of the ICE enforcement arm is wrong. It's that the way that we expanded it so fast is incompetent.
Okay.
And so I can
necessarily disagree with that
and say that there is some incompetency in ICE, but I won't concede that the idea of ICE, if it wasn't incompetent, is correct.
So the reason the expansion took place is because of the several years of basically open borders that was taking place. People were wandering in, the whole catch and release thing and all of that, in order to put together a deportation system capable of dealing with the numbers that we're talking about. There's going to be some slip ups and some mistakes, and there's going to be some problems. And I hate it. Would better training be better? Yes, better training would be better. More training, better training, longer training, more in-depth training. Also, perhaps an internet training, because this has been an absolute fiasco in the news. It's been an absolute travesty after travesty after travesty. And these are all bad things. And I hate it. But if you're going to enforce laws, and the laws do exist, they should be enforced. And if people are going to resist that enforcement, that is kind of where we were having the conversation about the distinction between forced doctrine and social contract. The social contract is the mitigation of forced doctrine. That's what we're dealing with here, is the boots on the ground social contract versus forced doctrine. Is it legal for an ICE agent to shoot a woman in the middle of the road? Or does it matter which way her freaking tires are pointed? Right.
Yeah. Well, and so
it's one of those things.
This comes down to the incompetence of the scale, right? So I think it is completely justified in that particular case. I think a fully trained, I
recognize that lighter light anywhere. Yeah, baby. Sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
And I think the auditors are important, right? And this kind of goes back to that. So there's two different ways we can go, and I can see Joe Cool's on here now, and he is an auditor. So
I want to do the ICE.
It's going to get vicious. But let me finish, Joe. Let me finish, Joe, before you jump in on your audit stuff, right? So, I am actually conceding that I currently think the way that ICE was scaled, it was scaled to a point of incompetence. Now, do I think ICE is bad? Well, if it was scaled to competence, I would say no. But I am actually saying that our current state, because as you said, we let all this happen for so long. And I think everybody pretty much concedes to say, yeah, we got to keep the borders tight. We can let people in. That's part of our country, but we have to do it at a point which we can support them and we know them. We can't just have borders open. And then therefore we need ICE. But now when we have Trump coming in, trying to solve the problem of so much past mistakes and scaling a department and scaling a department in a bad way that it fails and it shoots some innocent woman who actually wasn't trying to kill anybody is a problem. So ICE good, the way that we scaled ICE bad, but to go to the auditing as well. And this is where I actually am curious about Joe's question, like where Joe's going to come in on this. I do believe that auditing is important, but then we've got Minneapolis where we scaled it very badly. And then we've got a left mayor there that's doing training courses that are training their citizens to follow ICE, honking their horn, blowing whistles, and to get in their way. This is like, so we know Powder Dusty. He's like, I think drugs should be legal.
Can you stop?
Wouldn't that be like the Powder Dusty running a training course on going every time you see a DEA agent trying to bust drugs, everybody go around and follow that car, honking the horn, going, stop doing your drugs.
It might be fair. First of all, I was going to say, I think I agree until Bab just went off the rails. I thought I agreed with everything that y'all was saying, right? Until Bab just went off the rails a bit. And I think most people agree with you, Vibe. Most people want borders and all of those things. And Sasquatch had a good point. I don't even remember what it was now. That they were not trained for this. That was a great point, right? They, it takes a long time to be trained to fuck with regular people outside of the scope of what you're used to. And the one thing I thought y'all were missing is that they are bad. These people are bad. It ain't just that they're ill trained. It shows in really evil ways, which is I'll expand on that, but that's what causes the people to come out. It's not that the mayor is bad and he directs a bunch of crazy people. They're sniffing something and they're right. You don't get to push people around and just spray crowds and do even what their light work is. You don't get to do that, and the people know that. What was the last thing you just said that I disagreed with, Vibe? I think I commented on a little bit that it's like people are running out there telling them to stop doing their jobs. What they're doing is wrong and evil. The same way I go out there and audit cops, bad cops, good cops get no problems from most auditors who do it well. It's only the ones that are egotistical and standing. You heard what our tough guys and shit. They're the only ones that end up on YouTube. All of the ICE agents are tough guys. It's crazy. I ain't found one or two kind of, one like cops every night. 19 out of 20 of your interactions, they're fellas. And I'm in Chicago. It might be 15, 20 cops on the scene, 30, 40 more. They're nice as fuck. 19 out of 20 interactions. With ICE, you won't get one interaction with motherfuckers that's nice, bro. They're different. And I think it's because those are the orders they were given. If you heard the backstage orders that both Vino was giving them, he was like, yeah, we're getting truckloads of that spray in. You know what I'm saying? The chemical sprays. And that's their directions, was to go out there and be brutes. And people sniffed it out.
Yeah, and this is part of the problem scale, right? So I think, and I'm just making these numbers up, they're just gut numbers, right? So you can't say, prove it to me. I would say 90% of cops are actually good people and 10% of cops are bad people, and they need to be audited, right? Now, when it comes to ICE, and I think you conceded on this as well, that we think it is a necessary enforcement arm. However, because we
I think it wasn't working horribly at first. They were doing well.
I think 10% of the ICE agents are skilled veterans that are good, and 90% of them, because they just came on the force 90 days ago, have they don't have.
Before that, it would have been the other way. 90% of them would have been good at their job before. Now, 90% of them are shitty now, because they're not. It used to be just intake and regular shit. No one had a problem with fucking ICE. Because
we hadn't scaled it yet.
Yes.
Literally,
now
there was only 10% of the ICE agents out there 2 years ago, and we've actually scaled that. And how do we scale it so quickly? We literally, it's a 20-day, no college degrees, no like barely any background checks. Just make sure you never got a DUI, and in 20 days later, you're an ICE agent. You have no actual experience on how to de-escalate. You don't have any training. It is much harder to become a cop than it is become an ICE agent. I'm not saying ICE agents are bad. I'm saying the way that we scaled it basically destroyed the image of ICE.
Immediately, Trump came in and it took it from 6 months to 47 days training.
I think it's below 47 days now.
I was giving due time to answer. I wasn't done. And because he was the 47th president, he thought that was significant and shit. And now it's dropped since then. And it turns out that 50 grand that they were offering, a lot of people signed up for it, and they found out you don't really get the 50 grand. You get a 10 grand if you were a part of the military, 10 grand if you fit a certain criteria. Most of them fit the 30 grand, and that's over X amount of years, and you don't get it through the gate.
That's you, Sam?
It's me.
All right, bud.
I didn't read that. I just read your image the second time. That's funny.
Yes, this is Samuel the Infamous. This is my Saturday night show that I do. Screaming into the void, where we just talk about whatever the hell pops up.
It's only
and he
fair.
tortures me with horrible things of the future.
It's only fair. I always see you over there, Squatch. It is Samuel. I think it's only fair that you go over here and support your man.
Oh, indeed. I don't get a lot of time to do it. Normally at this point, I'm preparing to moderate and produce another show on another channel. But it looks like she might not be going live tonight. So I have a little bit of time. You got me till my food gets here. Because I got to eat.
Well, since you got short time, anything, if it's okay with Sasquatch, I'm bossy like this, but anything in particular you want to address, or it could be a different topic, if that's okay with Sasquatch.
I'll be honest with you. I just got in here. I'm not even sure what we're talking about.
Vibe was saying that the white nationalists need to get rid of all the Muslim nations, and then once we're all Christians, the world will be better. Would you agree?
You did forget about the Jews.
Well, I'm not a Christian, so I don't know. So I don't know.
That was good shit, bro. That was good shit. That was a good response too.
So I don't know that I have a good answer to that, because I'm not a Christian.
Anyway. I was joking anyway. Just breaking the ice on some dumbass joke. Vibe is a very good guy. That's him up top. If you haven't met him, he's really good.
No, I think Vibe might be the only one here I haven't met. I haven't seen Em in forever. I'm so happy that you're still alive.
I know, right?
I keep telling them you're alive. They just don't believe me.
I was checking milk cartons and shit, bro.
Yeah. Do that every so often. I would do that too.
Yeah, I caught a couple of your live streams
sometimes.
last week, but after they were over. So, but no, it's good to see you. I'm very happy that you're alive and well, because like for a year there, I was just like, did she fucking die?
I'm ready to blame Lindsay. I'm about to blame Lindsay. What you doing?
No, dude.
Not that easy.
What you do to
Not
him?
gonna be that easy.
You gotta do. Can I give a little bit of a lore dump on exactly how that ended up happening? All right, so I think the first thorn in her side was being forcefully married to Mitch on a panel one night.
I forgot about that.
And then from that, there were various other things that kept looping back to just being annoying as piss, and she eventually just fucked off. I mean, I can't blame her.
Yes. I forgot about the Mitch shit. Yeah.
And then that whole mental health shit, everybody kept saying, you need to take care of your mental health.
Yeah.
So I did that.
Well,
That's a good girl.
We were right, even though I didn't give you that advice, but we were absolutely right.
Well,
to see you,
here's the thing. I've seen her on like proper meds and off proper meds, and there are some people who need proper meds. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. I can acknowledge that. Yeah.
Cat is what? Crafty Cat. I swear she's like super sharp like Nikki, witchy bitchy. And then when she's off her shit, she wants to tell you about the amount of blades in your grass we put there by the Rockefeller
service taking over your fucking land so that they can land aircraft in your fucking backyard because of Raytheon.
Right, that stuff. Yes.
It's
and M's over there. Yeah, M's over there going, I haven't heard anything fake yet.
Is that right? It sounds like normal to me.
Yeah, it's an everyday thing for me.
Raytheon is up to no good.
They're always up to no good. For real. No, anytime I hear some shit like they're over there, no, they are not. No, they're fucking up my town right now as we speak. Got the interstate all fucked up, trying to get their little access to the river, so they keep dumping shit in there.
I apologize.
Yeah, I see you.
You did.
I did it. It was
you
me.
It was
you
me.
did it.
Samuel. It's a Samuel.
Samuel.
My brother Samuel. Let me hear you. I want to hear some opinions, man. I'm that guy. I never get to rap with you. What do you got? Your opinions on what's happening with the war, and then I'm gonna bring up a couple more topics we've been talking about. I ain't been up here long myself.
Well, I don't. I'm not very happy about it.
That's a good start. See, Vibe, I told you. No, I'm kidding. Again. I'm kidding.
This is going to sound a little harsh, but as far as I'm concerned, the entire Middle East has been cursed to drown in blood for 3,000 years. It will not end because Trump fucking wants it to, and we need to wash our hands of the entire fucking region.
It's hard to argue that, at least the latter part, right? You're not gonna stop it by blowing up a country. It's not gonna work. They got some shit to work through.
No, it's what they do there. Everybody in the Middle East has been killing each other for thousands of years over petty bullshit, and I don't want any part of it. And now it's infecting fucking Europe, and it's infecting America, and it's affecting Canada.
I think it started off really with that.
My point is about
shit.
that. Hold on. My point is about that is they started by throwing rocks at each other, and if we had a nuclear war tomorrow, they would continue by throwing rocks at each other.
Yeah, right. They've been along that long.
Blink. It's been going on that long.
If two people survive, they throw rocks at each other.
Exactly. They'll cuss at each other across an imaginary line while they throw rocks.
Yeah, it is one of those hard scenarios where you're just kind of like, in my moral ethics, I'm not going to talk for you guys. In my moral ethics, I'm like, it's about time somebody fucking beat up the bully. But at the same time, here's the United States responding that like, hey, we don't get most of our oil out of the that they're blocking right
Her
now.
moves.
We're fine. The rest of the world's that we just fucked that can't get oil right now. Got to figure it
We
out.
could.
So we
Yes,
actually
sir.
are fucking with the whole world.
Yes,
In this,
agreed.
and we're not even going. It's our problem. We're like, yeah, we had to kick their ass. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's hurting you.
Right.
Well, I don't think you understand quite how much oil they have over there, sir.
Yeah, they have a lot
But
of money.
places like China, 90% of their oil went through that strait. It's got to be fucking them over.
And,
It's still
well,
going
actually,
through there.
we did a lot more than
Is
they're
there
admitting in the
even safe
news. We're only
passage?
saying that we. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Samuel.
I don't know. They're still getting their oil through there. Like people go around talking like, oh well, they shut down the Strait of Hormuz. No, Iran is still allowing tankers going to China to go through there.
Well, they just started that a couple days ago, right? Or
For
yesterday.
now, there was no
They're
bill.
just not letting
before.
America get
Now they're
there.
actually
Yeah.
charging a bill for them to go through.
Right.
They're like, we'll let you
Right.
let it go through because we need to recoup what the United States destroyed. So now there's a tax. There's a new tax. It's
That's
the tax
pimp
that
shit.
the United States kicked our ass, and we
Yeah.
have to recoup.
That's fair because United States embargoes whoever they want. When you were saying the bullies, surely we're talking about us. The U.S. has been the bullies
Yeah.
forever. Israel
have
has
the
been the
biggest
bullies
stick.
forever. Now, I think we bully people with it. I think all of that embargoing who we want and
Oh, that's
that-
just politics, man. Whoever has the biggest stick sets the rules, and it generally
Yeah, but-
speaking, it's not a nice
America's
person. who
got
has
a little dick, but they
No,
act like they
actually,
got a big
dick.
dick.
Why is
America
he
has a
saying
big
that?
swinging fucking
we
dick.
sling along.
Israel
Oh,
has a
stick.
tiny little
Either
fucking
way,
penis. How did they freaking become the
I didn't
dominating
say anything
power
about
in
a penis. Emily.
We've got this thing. Hold on. We've got this thing called a C-130, and it just rains death from above, just in general.
Yeah.
We've got
So
this
we
thing
using
called
it
an
right now?
Apache helicopter. That means
Yeah,
we
I've seen
care
that.
about foreign nations' policies. We've got an ICBM that says that not only do we care about foreign policy, we think you should care that we care.
Them F-35s, I think, and all of that crazy shit.
This is why I keep laughing at people who go around saying this is a violation of international law. There's no such thing as international law. It does not exist. In order
We
for there to be
enforce
international law,
law.
there has
Okay,
to
first
be
off,
an international
international law
governing body
does
with the
exist.
martial power to back it up.
And they talk about UN,
you got
right?
it. You got it. You nailed it. International law does exist. And the strongest power, this goes to the force doctrine, the strongest power is the one that enforces that. So if international law is broke, who are they going to call on? They're going to call on the United States. Now, if the United States decides to break international law, and this is where you are correct also, Samuel, who's going to fucking call the cops on us? We are
We
the
got
cops.
bombs, baby.
We can do whatever we want. So international law does not exist for the United States. Now, is that fair? I'm just making a statement. I'm not saying this is right. Is it fair? Maybe not. But it is the truth.
Well, fair doesn't come into it. Anybody
Yeah,
who says
exactly.
things are fair or unfair is looking at it through the eyes of a child. Fair is not a thing.
Dreaming
in
a
real
bit.
life.
Yeah. I don't think
But
it's meant to be
international
fair,
law
but
does
that's the
exist
difference.
and it is enforced. Just
Here's
not
the thing
for
about
us.
that, though. If a law cannot be martially enforced against
It
anybody
can be
who
martially
breaks it,
enforced
then it's
against
not a
all
law,
the other
it's
people.
suggestion.
You see Vibes' point?
does.
It does apply to most of the world. It just
Yes,
don't
But
apply
not
to
everybody, not
This doesn't
equally.
apply to us.
Therefore, not a
Yeah.
law.
Question: who applies it to a United States aircraft carrier?
no fucking one, right? And they're
Okay.
clear about it. That's why U.S. got veto powers. That's why every other country agrees to that's beautiful. The U.S. and Israel are the two outstanding people that say no every fucking time. They really run the show.
And we definitely broke the law going into Venezuela, right? There are international laws that say
We certainly broke Venezuela.
that we are not allowed to interfere with the statehood of another state.
We broke our
the-
own laws, blowing up them
but
boats.
our own laws, we did do it properly, and we are trying him properly here in the United States. That is all actually legal. We broke international law, but once again, Venezuela has to file a petition to the UN and say the United States actually
the
broke
UN has
international
to
law
be able to
and
back
get a
it up.
ruling that the
They
United
can't.
Nations is going to actually ask
Right.
for some reparations, right?
I'm sure the UN has already said it's shitty, and the US is like,
Oh.
fuck y'all.
Nah, the
There's-
UN puts out a fucking statement every so often about some random thing that they're pretending to give a fuck about. They're not
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have to realize before there was millennials, there was Europeans. They existed before millennials, and so like the rest of the world is millennials and Europeans. We're
Bro,
already fucked. We're the only ones standing on our own legs here.
You're on a panel full of culture war veterans. We've literally been in the freaking trenches. Like, this dude is probably the second most shadow banned person I know of. The first being Cardinal Conservative, who recently got his channel back from like 6 years ago, back when he was like spouting truth. And I used to use his clips for my intro monologue before I found Captain Curmudgeon. And like, it was really weird. I noticed one day he didn't have a new intro monologue, and I was like, well, damn. So I used Captain Curmudgeon, and then Cardinal Conservative's channel just disappeared, just vanished, just poof, gone. And it took almost.
What type of heavy shit you saying over that, man? It's getting you popped,
bro.
like that.
I don't even know, man.
It wasn't him. It wasn't him. It was.
Okay.
It was another guy, but he was on the same subjects, same matter.
Yeah.
And this was several years ago. For
It's cost me a little bit. I don't even know how the hell I ended up more shadow banned than my Muslim friend who's on her second channel because her first one got nuked, and she spouts off about chucking gays off of rooftops all day long. And she's less shadow banned than I am somehow. So
this probably fits with somebody's agenda. Fucking be brave. I don't know if y'all know him, but he talk about how horrible black people are. He got away with it for a couple of years or something. He said, "I'm shocked. Y'all didn't watch."
Dude, he monetized that shit. I'm impressed. I'm not even mad about it. I'm more impressed than anything else.
But you know who ushered him in was TC, Chaotic Truth, CT.
Yeah.
So I assume CT is a paid motherfucker, and so they gave him the leeway because they want other paid motherfuckers on here that spout nonsense like that to keep us hating each other.
Okay, so here's a point right there. When you're talking about paid opposition like that, a lot of people think of the idea of the government sending a representative or somebody recruiting the guy to do this particular narrative or whatever. It's not that deep, folks. There is some moron out there spouting exactly the bullshit they want spouted, and they just pay them fuckers. They take the whole middleman out. They're just like, he's already saying it, give him money, and he'll get a bigger audience.
That's exactly. I think that's exactly the same shit I'm saying.
That's the way it feels to me.
Yeah, I'm not saying Chaotic Truth is. He's a paid guy himself, and he opens the door for other paid people and gets a check. I don't imagine he went to the academy or anything. He's enough people willing to do monkey shit, but let's not overlook that. They took the number one focus of the FBI used to be right-wing terrorists, crazy, far right-wing, not just right-wing, the crazy fucks. And now it's the internet. And they admittedly moved all of those agents from the child shit, all of them over into the internet. And we know how they intrude, they become part of. We know that's what they did when they invade every organization throughout history. Just numerically, if you're on a panel with 10 people, the odds of none of them, especially if you're in our circles, being an actual government or a paid motherfucker are almost zero. I just assume 50% when I'm on a panel with 10 people.
That'd be nice if I got paid.
That would be cool. Somebody send me some money.
No, I in my case, I spent a couple of years riding hard on WEF and the WHO and that sort of thing. And I got myself fucking blocked on social media by PETA of all fucking things.
Another they pay for sure.
I've eaten dog.
Yeah, so have I. It's good.
I didn't know it at the time. The people
PETA brought me down.
They told me this was their filet mignon, and they were laughing their asses off because they were feeding on an American dog.
I just kept pointing out that maybe if you want me to stop eating pigs, stop fucking murdering puppies en masse. Repeatedly until they got sick of me.
How you doing, Em?
Fine.
You're kind of quiet. I'm just kind of curious. I want to make sure you're included. I want to welcome you into the conversation and make sure that you have your say.
To you guys, I'm just listening. I don't really get involved in the politics stuff. It's not my thing.
Yeah, actually, I'm not really very political either. I'm more like philosophical. political than like current events political. So yeah, I do have my opinions, but
Let's do the
when it really comes
philosophical
down to
shit.
knowing
then.
everyday events, like I'm not really good at that. I'm not like, I can't tell you like the details of the laws and what's going on. I have a philosophical sense for it more than I do of current events.
Let me ask you and Samuel some philosophical shit then about the government, whatever the fuck. Is communism, socialism, capitalism? Which one is better?
Well, capitalism right now is the winning one, and actually, I would say is the mark for everything today that works best because it fits with the ambitions of people. People get motivated when they don't have a reward system, and capitalism rewards the reward system. However, with AI and with robots and all these things, we're going to actually have to see a shift from that where there.
Hold on, that was the second question. Hold on, you're getting ahead.
Okay.
Hold on. Samuel, I only gave you three options. I know there are only three: communism, socialism, capitalism. Which one's better?
I don't see communism, socialism is all that different. They end up in the same fucking place.
I personally think that socialism is probably the good middle ground. I'm still more of a capitalist myself, so I will tend to go towards the capitalism side. But what I was trying to say by that, with looking at how technologies are growing and changing, I think that view, I think I'm going to have to adjust my view because it's not going to be capable of sustaining the world population.
Oh,
so
I think
capitalism works today, but I don't think it's going to work tomorrow.
That was the second question. I figured we find inadequacies with all of those. What does the one that works look like? That was the next question anyway, so you can continue.
I don't think we found it.
Can I jump in on this one?
Yeah.
So the reason there are three primary branches of human philosophical thought on this point is because three economic branches, I suppose you could say, is because without free market economy, you don't have enough growth and funding to fund a socialist government. And without interaction with the free market economy, the socialism doesn't really have the funding to function for like universal health care and stuff. And the socialist nations are the throughput through which the communist nations negotiate with the capitalist nations. Now, in almost no capitalist nation do we actually have a full-on free market economy. They're almost always curtailed by government regulation to such an extent as to create a semi-socialist situation in any event. I hate it when that happens. It tastes like peanut butter.
No, I agree. That's exactly what's going on, though.
If we look at the medical system, right, it's unfair in the United States that everybody doesn't get medical treatment. But the reality is everybody does get medical treatment, whether you have insurance or not. You get in a car accident, you're going to the hospital. Sure, you might have a bill, but you're still getting treated. Now, what we see in the socialist countries, where everybody actually has medical care and they're not going to get a bill after, we see lines for 6 months for them to see a provider, right? And so I'm not against socialist idea of medicine, but I have not seen a country yet to produce a good version of it that actually works, right?
Because it doesn't fundamentally work.
It doesn't. That's kind of the problem.
The idea that it's sold to very dumb people that they can build some kind of utopia when utopia is a myth because utopia flies in the face of human nature.
Yeah, well, and I would say that utopia, in a sense, Marxism is kind of that idea, and Star Trek, the Next Generation, is that concept where
it's the concept taken to
all food is easy. Anybody can do whatever they want. Therefore, there is no more need for money, right? But that's not that. I mean, we're not anywhere close to that reality yet.
No, because that's a post-scarcity reality, which it doesn't exist. It can't exist in our current position. It can't exist as far as I can tell. Even if we call the rest of the fucking solar system, we're not in a position where post scarcity is going to be a thing. So that's
wait. I'm under the impression that scarcity is manufactured. That scarcity is actually manufactured right now. Most is not. The scarcity is.
I would agree that there's plenty to go around, and that in some cases people are hoarding more than they probably need. But
y'all know Ginger Billy is my spirit animal.
Yeah, Ginger Billy's pretty awesome.
The fuck is that?
That's his new cart boat.
I was wondering, because I'm on the phone. I was like, is that shit gonna shoot out rockets or something? It's
bro, it's just a float.
No hope.
Does it work? Did y'all see him
This
try?
this is like version 5 or 12 or something. He's built a bunch of these to try to drive out of the river over there.
Does
And
it
almost
work,
all of
Jen?
them
If this
sink.
is 12, it's got to work at least a little bit. Yeah.
Well, the first one worked a little bit, sort of.
He
He's
ain't
had to paddle
improved.
his happy ass back. I'm of the opinion that what he should be doing is utilizing a jet ski, starting
Yeah.
there.
I saw
But-
people do that, and but he
Dude.
apparently he runs it roadworthy too. Adapting the jet ski to the road sounds like way above my head.
Yeah, it could be a problem. The coolest little bass boat I've ever been on was a modified jet ski where the dude had built outriggers onto it and had almost the
seen
same
one of
surface
those.
area of a fucking like a full size pontoon boat.
Yeah.
He'd roll the little things out and attach the little bungees, and suddenly you had a net to walk around on. Dude, it's cool as hell. I'm talking. He had a little boat that he pulled along behind it that carried all the beer and
Yeah.
the snacks
That's
and all
very
that
good.
stuff. He pulled it
Yeah.
up, set everything up. Dude, it was fat as hell.
I saw a guy
Had a
build
remote
one on
control
there.
that drove the Sea-Doo. Had a little chair sitting up on top of it.
The only difference I saw, well, besides the nets and the carrying the second boat, but I saw one on the internet, and the only difference was the guy with the pontoons, he had them on a motor so that he could push a button and they'll rise up. So when he gets some speed up, he pushes that, and it's just like the jet ski bottom, and it'll move. And then when he slows down, he pushes it, and the pontoons come back down. It's the fucking bass boat again.
Yeah, this dude had it set up so that the two outriggers would stand straight up and then lay down against the sides of the thing, and the net thing that I'm talking about basically rolled up into the pontoon thing.
Yeah.
It was wild, bro.
That's smart.
When I showed up to the place, he was like, "Oh, I'll be back to get you in a minute," and I was like, "Okay." And he hopped in and was like, pulled the little boat over there, got in the little boat and come back, and then loaded up the little boat and went back out there, and then come back and then put me in the boat and took me out there. And I was like, holy shit, this thing's tiny. But at the time it had everything set up. It was like the Trimarine on Waterworld with the netting.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive that's where he got the idea from.
A lot of people use that. I've seen it a lot.
It was wild though.
That sounds
fun.
like an incredible day to me, man. I
It
love
was
fishing,
it was tons of
period,
fun, bro.
and doing new shit like that, man. You know, I be thinking this dock, I'm going on the most rickety dock, you know, that look like, you know, snakes and alligators and shit, and it's gonna fall through at any moment. I be thinking that's something. So, you know, actually going out on this entraption, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, dude, it was great. It was really cool. And he had the way he had
Give the
the
ginger some respect there.
oh yeah,
You got to
it's
get a
fun.
ginger some respect. Yeah, I guess you're right.
And the way the guy
Sit on
had the
ginger
trolling
is a
motor
lot.
He
set
has no
up,
soul, but he's got some ingenuity.
Right? Yeah.
some of that redneck teching.
Oh,
Telling you, that's my spirit animal right there.
that's a nice beard.
They
on
make
him,
some of the
bro.
most awesome contraptions, though. Dudes from the South, like
Yeah.
that. Seriously.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily
That's what-
from the South, just rednecks in general.
Yeah, rednecks
yeah,
that
in
don't throw
general.
shit away. They'd have to be rednecks. Well, you know,
And
they
recycle
you know,
everything.
be like, you know what? This the wiring on that old so and so might come into play later, and so you know, you go behind the crib and it's like washing machines and shit. Those guys are industrial.
Bro, I helped build a lodge out in the middle of nowhere, and one of the things that they put in was 6 washing machine based generators, wind turbines.
Mm.
They had 6 windmills that were up across the top of a big metal building, and that's where they started, was metal building 6 wind turbines. And I was like, okay, cool. Now the thing is, here in Georgia, the only time we really get some stiff wind that you can count on is during a storm, and those
Right.
things lay down in a storm. So I never saw
We
them
were
mention
talking
out.
about what alternate possibilities there are, considering that, right? Some places get too much wind, don't get enough, or what have you. Some guy had, what do you call it? I don't even know what you call this shit. It was air powered, and he had big tanks, and I mean like the size of school bucks. He had 3 of them lined up behind the factory with all the tools and shit in it. He used the solar to fill them up under pressure, air pressure. That's all it was. And they worked the machines off of fucking air pressure. The tanks were so big, there was enough to keep the lights on, the fans going, the machines going.
There's
I
a
ain't never
guy
heard of
in
that.
Texas right now, and I'm gonna try to remember his name. He has a channel on YouTube. He lives on quote unquote a family compound that is off grid. He derives all of his electricity from a combination of solar and wind, and I think he has a small hydro set up on the compound. It's not his per se, but it is associated with his charging system.
Yeah.
They basically got their own little family network of stuff out there. Anyway, me and him sat down and hammered it out. And that was one of the things he brought up was they were considering getting some air-powered golf carts because they have a massive amount of capability of electricity sometimes.
Right.
That is too much. They can't
see.
store
They
it.
would use it to compress the tanks, and then on the other times
it would be the overproduction when they have this hugely sunny day with a really high index and all of
they
that.
need something to do
And all
with it.
your air conditioners and everything that you can because it's too much for charging the battery.
Yeah.
The batteries can only take so much on at a time.
Right.
And in this case, you would compress air. And that compressed air would be stacked and stacked and stacked for use at it, just like gasoline.
One of my buddies about those batteries. I was in the house and he was sleeping in the van, and we do it. It was Liberty Freak, and he came and woke me up out the bed, and fucking one of the batteries was smoking, and it was a bank of like 6, and these things are big. I think they're marine batteries or something. They're big, and it had swollen up so tight amongst the other batteries, and he had built a box not allowing for expansion. It was a fucking scary ass nightmare fucking with that
Oh
shit.
yeah, and just pulling the plug on it won't necessarily stop it once they get so warm.
Exactly,
They
right.
can work off by themselves at that point. It depends on the damage in particular that's taking place. And I've had several nightmare scenarios with batteries because I had a truck that destroyed car batteries. It had some kind of a flaw built into it where it just literally melted down car batteries over and over and over again. I probably spent $5,000 on car batteries in 5-10 years. It was crazy. And the only thing that fixed it, and this will make perfect sense. The radio was giving me shit too, of course, right?
Yeah.
Electrical problem, radio is going to be a problem. There's nothing you can do about that. And so I changed the radio, and in the process of changing the radio, they found out that the amplifier had somehow become literally welded to the firewall. It had burnt through the carpet and basically just touched straight off to 12-volt current all the time. And that's what was killing my battery.
Yeah.
I found this out like 3 days after I bought my Xterra. I just gave up on that damn thing. I sold that thing at one point in time, I would have given that fucker away for a dry ham sandwich.
I know,
I hated
right?
that truck. That truck was terrible.
I hear that. You need that reliable shit, man. That's how you
Right.
form a bond with your vehicle. It can be as ugly as sin. I've had shit where you lift up the carpet and you can see the street underneath.
Right.
But you can fall in love with it because you know if you do the right thing, this motherfucker gonna sell you some.
See,
love.
that was the thing. I loved that truck. I wanted that truck to go everywhere with me, man. Everything I wanted in a vehicle, I went and picked it out. The only thing it wasn't that I wanted was 4-wheel drive. That was it.
Yeah, I dig it. If you get in the truck, you definitely want that shit.
And I swear to
You need
God,
Toyota.
everywhere I drove, this motherfucker felt like I needed to get out and push.
Right.
Yeah,
Liberty's
take that and
van.
burn it.
Say again now.
I said, take that and burn it. You need a Toyota.
I sold it to a dude who totaled it almost immediately.
Oh,
Lo-
Yeah.
Lovely.
And
Liberty
get
still
this,
got
he
the.
still has it. If I need an engine or a block for my Xterra sitting over there in his backyard, I could probably get it for a couple $100.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
there
just
you
don't
go.
take the radio.
I think some bitch I know is in Alabama. She was trying to get rid of a car here a little bit ago.
Get rid of a car.
Yeah. She was putting it out there. Said something about how I would
What up, Dennis?
need a little bit of work or whatever. And she was like, you don't have a vehicle. You should come out here to Alabama and get it. I was like, I'm in fucking Wyoming and I don't have a car.
Yeah.
I'm not coming to Alabama.
Listen,
That's not happening.
See the
how
problem.
hot is she, right? Because if she decent,
Yeah,
you
right.
take a train out there, you spend the night, drive the car home.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how to be thinking. Yeah.
I've had some of the
That's how I
most
got my
fun
car,
doing
by the
that
way.
shit.
I flew to
Oh,
Utah.
it was nice. Of you. I appreciated the
drove
offer. and
away,
everything,
spent the
but-
night, drove off the next day. That's how I got my car.
I flew out to Texas to get my El Camino.
See?
And I drove it home from Texas, and the trip back was absolutely phenomenal. We stopped at the place in Texas, bought the car, went to the bank, did all the stuff, come back, and that night, an entire family, get this, an entire family of old car, like car club enthusiasts,
Yeah.
were meeting there. They didn't come there together. They met there. And so I pulled in with a 69 Super Sport El Camino
Oh my
and
god.
a 66 freaking Super Sport Camaro pulled up on the left side and like a 64 Mustang on the right side. And then this kid come hoopty in his ass in with like a dent side 72 Ford pickup.
Yeah.
The two other vehicles were mint condition. This old pickup truck looked like it had just been scraped up off somebody's barn. Right. And he pulls up, gets out, looks at my car and goes, "Hey bud, you want to trade?" I almost did it because that was a cool looking truck, bro.
I went to a car show. Guy had a truck look like that on the outside. And I got pictures of it somewhere, video. And when you get into it, the interior is just immaculate. And you can hear when he was parking it that the engine was like something you run down the track with, and he pops the hood and he got this crazy engine in there. I was like, don't change a thing, bro.
What went wrong with my El Camino is the El Camino is built completely for drag racing. And I could spend $5,000 pulling enough parts off that engine to set it up for me to drive it.
Yeah.
Or I could sell the engine for 10.
Right.
I don't have the tools to pull it. I don't have the circumstance to pull it, and I don't have anything to put back in it. I'd have to do the work first.
Liberty Freak, he was smart. They did a bunch of that van living shit. He had his eye on his old truck, a step van, and he eventually got it. It's an old diesel. And he's smart because now he's got the stuff to where a few engines would do this, will burn oil.
Yeah,
So-
that's mechanical diesel. That's early fucking 60s, 50s technology. It's been, dude, them boys with the slide rulers and the horn rim glasses, they knew what the fuck they were building.
But there's enough room under there where he can put this massive a second gas tank under there. And now he's got a flip switch, a toggle in the truck, and you can flip it to the oil, which he has to sift and spin around. I forget the name of it now. And then you can, for $3 you can drive across country or something. It's crazy.
Well, if you can make an agreement, this is hard to do nowadays. It used to be easy back in the 70s and 80s. I had a couple of cousins that were driving on fried grease. Dude,
I heard
the
it's like
coolest
French
ones.
fries behind them too. I have
Yeah. Dude, he was picking up grease from a steakhouse. That shit smelled amazing.
I heard that before.
This guy, he had, you know what a Toyota Dolphin is?
I could
All right.
Google it.
So I believe all of them were Toyota, but there may have been a few Hyundai or something like that. But it's basically your old school 4-cylinder Toyota diesels, stick shift with a 4-speed in it. But instead of having the flatbed on the back of it, and this is a little truck, a small body truck, instead of having like the little flatbed in the back of it, it had a full walk-in motorhome.
Oh my goodness.
And it's about the size of your average van total, but it runs either on a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder diesel with a turbo on it. And sometimes they had twin turbos, and some of those things were fucking mean, bro.
What'd you call it? A Toyota Dolphin?
I think it was Toyota Dolphin, Dolphin, Dolphin.
Yeah, I got Dolphin truck, and
I'm
it's
sure.
fucking trucking company own that, so all their shit's coming up.
Oh yeah, hold on.
Wait.
Let me see if I can find
Is
it.
it a RV?
Yeah, it's like a little RV thing. Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm finna go, man. Cynthia called and asked me, do I want to fight over a police video?
All right.
Of course, I'm telling you, yes.
I mean, you're already there, right?
All right. Well, I'll let you
This
guys
little
later.
thing right there.
Hold on. Let me zoom in.
It's a
Yes.
small pickup with an RV stuck on it. Somebody like a fucking snail shell.
I don't know why they call that a dolphin. It's hardly air.
Yes, I was expecting something tiny, right?
Something
Well,
sleek.
it is
Right.
based on the smallest truck frame ever made.
Can it bounce a ball on its nose?
I mean, if the kid running out in the road with it,
Yeah, once maybe.
maybe. All right, brother. Much love.
All right, later, guys.
See you, Joe.
You handled that well.
So what?
Sometimes Joe could like go for the jugular type thing. He's one of those people. Oh, I like talking to him. He keeps you on your toes.
A couple of times, I think. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
typically Joe loves to go for my juggler, but I still love him. That's why I love him.
I heard that is
Well, I
go
mean,
for
he
my
just-
juggalo.
It's the juggalasses that I'm worried about. Got to get me some Fago to attract them bitches. It's good God. Man.
Why are you trying to attract bitches? They're crazy.
You are not wrong. You ever
What
done any
the
hoe
hell?
math?
No. What the fuck is that? Do I even want to know? As soon as I
Not
said that, I'm
really.
like, I probably don't want to know. Probably don't want to know.
So
But we're gonna find
this
out
guy's
for sure.
fixing to make a boat out of a
camper?
water tank. Out of a water tank, apparently.
Fiberglass?
I think it's like PVC plastic or something.
Well, hell yeah.
Right? I've built a raft. A couple.
You
I've only
built a
had
raft?
one that was worth a damn.
I wouldn't trust anything that I built because
You're a woman. I get it.
Exactly.
I kind of get that, but I figure, you're also an American, and if Cubans can make it to Florida in a fucking shoebox, you'll probably be all right.
Yeah. I think I got a little more faith in him than him has in herself when it comes down to it.
True.
She recognized when stick float.
Right.
Yeah, no, I built a couple of rafts when I was growing up, being, the classical, Tom, what was his goddamn name? Mark Twain and Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn and the river and all that stuff, right? Except my river was a swamp and it was 200 some odd acres of alligator infested hellscape. Now that I think back on it. But
When you were double siding whitewashing that fence, did you inhale?
sir, I know where the sweetest paint chips are.
Of course. Deep breaths. Like,
So, I made the attempt to do a raft, and a raft is not an easy thing to make, especially if you plan on going anywhere with it. You might be able to make something that'll float, but will it float with you on it? And can you pole it in any direction? No. You have to think all that shit through. And so the first raft I made basically sat on the bottom and didn't float. A couple of years later, I tried again, and it kind of floated, but I couldn't really drive it anywhere because I couldn't go to any side. Because if I went too far to any particular side, it would tip in that direction. But the third raft I built actually ended up staying in the lake that I built it in for like a couple of years, and different people used it at different points in times for different things. Every now and then I'd end up going back out there, and the raft would be like in a different part of the place, and somebody had installed a hubcap for a fire burner, had it screwed down like a DeWalt drill.
All right,
This is cool.
I gotta bounce. So,
All right, brother. Much love. Don't let the man get you down.
Yep, we'll see you Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So.
I'm all over it. I'm even going to do math to figure out when it's going to happen.
It'll be, I think, 9 a.m. your time.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
No. Other direction. So it's 11 a.m. here. It'll be noon 1 p.m.
Like
your
3,
time.
1, 11.
I think it's 1, whatever. We'll figure it out. Anyway.
Yeah.
Em, great to see you again.
Just
Bye,
schedule it.
Good to see you too, babe.
So
just
all
schedule it, and I can get it off YouTube, and they'll tell me when it happens.
We'll do. All right. Good night.
All right, peace out, brother. Bob's going dark.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out.
Happened.
Well, here's my camera now. I turned it on. I just see black.
Huh.
But you guys can hear me, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Let me check the settings here on the camera. Yeah, no, that's the right camera.
Sometimes just refreshing is all it takes.
Yeah. Let me just do a quick refresh. I'll probably drop out for a second.
All right, bud. I'll bring you back.
And the
up.
link I put in there, by the way, because we were talking about cars. Like, we're a big car family, and I've been raising my kids to know how to drive cars. That's a video of my 2-year-old in his first electric car.
Cool.
And it's awesome. And by the way,
Check
they
it
have
out,
more
brother.
subscribers on YouTube than I do. So I'm not
Right?
toxic.
That makes
Right,
sense.
What the hell?
He's making a boat.
Oh. I thought, I know, I can see that. Good Lord. Although sometimes I struggle, like, actually putting 2 and 2 together. I'll be looking at something sometimes, and like my brain has like this delay in processing what I'm actually looking at. So I'll just be staring at it so hard. I look ridiculous. I know I do. I've caught myself like coming back out of that day, like, oh, that's what I'm looking at. Shit. Yeah. That kind of stuff. I'm serious. Like, just in and out of it. Like, it's that medication, man. I know that's what it is. I know that's what
Girl.
it is.
Bro, I ain't even.
Yeah.
I ain't even. This is kind of brilliant when you think about it, using the foam for structure, depending on what type of foam you use.
Yeah.
It can work. The issue is what should have been, and you see where all the wood has been laid in? You could have gone through there with aluminum and just covered all that shit in foam, just outright. Go over and shape that fucker with a cheese grater. I ain't
Well, the
joking.
foam fills the gaps too, right? And keeps it from
Yeah,
leaking.
it fills the gap, and if you use
sealant there,
closed cell foam, it'll not only will it seal the gap, it'll waterproof it on its way through.
yeah,
Oh,
there
cool.
Right. So
That's so cool.
if you've got a tiny pinhole down here in the bottom, when you pour that foam in and it starts spraying out, it's going to spew out that pinhole. You just take a cheese grater to it and level it out and then file it down. After that, you paint. They've got this like urethane type overlayment or whatever it's called, and you paint that shit over it. It melts a little bit of the foam into it so that it's like all one piece. Fucking sand that shit down, you're good.
That's
You
pretty
make a
cool.
screen door float with that shit.
That's pretty gnarly.
what's it going to do with the piping in the bottom there?
I think that's for drainage.
Okay.
I think that's to let water flow back to the drain plug that's going to be in the back, would be my guess.
Huh.
Given its location and whatnot. I've never actually built a boat, but I've helped a guy cut panels to build a boat. I never got to see him build it though. I was kind of pissed off because I hired on to help a guy build a boat, right? And he basically had a blueprint, and we were just cutting the panels from the blueprint. We did that shit for like 2 months, 2.5 months, just cutting flat sheets of fucking this, that, and the third. Like, some of it was laminated type stuff, some of it was plywood type stuff, some of it was mahogany, fucking teak, just shapes. I'd come in and there'd be a draft book sitting on the fucking thing, and I'd have to go through and mark out all the shapes and cut the shapes out of each piece. And there was already a layout for how many pieces should come out of each sheet and what the sheet's made of, and it was all barcoded up. It was a simple job, but it was technically difficult, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'd imagine so.
it was god awful boring on some days when I had to cut like 20 of the same fucking part, like over and over and over and over and over and over, and then come in the next day and do the same part for another fucking 5 hours.
Yeah, fuck that.
It was, I mean, like I said, it wasn't hard. It was just you kind of had to work hard at it, or it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, the panels are heavy. The wood is splintery. Everything's dry. You're sneezing all the time. You got fucking sawdust all inside everywhere, and everything itches all the time.
You work on foam, glue, all that shit. Breathing in glue.
No. We weren't doing any of that. I literally just cut flat panels out of some sort of either plywood or balsa or whatever. Thank you, my love.
Give I get a new
woo? Thank you, love.
Damn.
Ooh, she's making a coffee hot. Y'all ever watch any of those people that do like the primitive builds out in like Bangladesh or Southeast Asia or wherever the hell those people are?
I've seen them.
I am absolutely addicted to the fucking things. I can't stop watching them. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Anything you can create out of bamboo, you can create out of virtually any straight growing piece of wood, right? Bamboo just happens to be lighter than virtually anything else you can use like that.
Plus, it looks cool.
So like a bamboo raft is the absolute shit. And if you stabilize bamboo before you build the raft, that thing will last fucking forever.
Right? Plus, like I said, it looks cool. I mean, the bamboo raft is so cool. I'm just like, damn, that looks so badass. It really does.
The ones I like, so there's this one that is all of this, actually it's like 6 different channels and 4 different people, but they're all building around the same little reservoir or whatever it is. It's like a giant cistern, a little dammed up place with water, and there's like streams coming down off the mountain, and there's 2 or 3 different homesteads they built. And what's funny to me is there's 2 types. They're the ones that are building in like clay that's 50 foot deep, and they don't need nothing heavier than a wooden shovel. And then there's the ones that are building on the mountainside, and those are the ones I like watching. And
hauling that shit up the mountain.
Yeah. Well, not just that. It's just all right. So you don't realize how much work it takes to remove rocks out of a fucking hillside until you've had to remove rocks out of a fucking hillside.
Right.
That shit is not easy, bro.
Yeah, no, thank you.
That shit is not easy.
No.
And here in Georgia, where I'm at, we're more closely related to the folks digging in clay than we are to the folks building with rock. There ain't no rocks bigger than your thumb here until you get about 20 or 15 foot deep.
Yeah.
Something like that. But then you drive 25 miles north and you hit Stone Mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's rocks everywhere. A literal fucking, I think I could, let's see, Sparta's like, that's just about 35 minutes away, and it's literally a fucking granite stone quarry. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see what M's Mad World is up to. Or these guys who build everything out of fucking like pallets, right?
Oh, that's kind of cool too, though. I think that's kind of cool.
Sure.
Yeah. And they're everywhere. Like you just see pallets. Just people.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You'll notice that the pallets you see everywhere that you can get don't look like the pallets that these guys used to build shit with.
Right.
But to be honest, I've been stealing pallets quite recently. I love pallets, and they're much longer, and they're actually better quality than they used to be. They don't look like that. They're what, like
these are immaculate. These look like they came off of a pallet factory floor.
No, yeah, and the ones that I've been taking from the places nearby here, just like that are sitting on the side of the road. I don't know. I'm sure somebody's supposed to pick them up, and I'm not supposed to take them, but I am taking them. They're like 6 feet, they're 6 feet long by 4 feet wide, all like very nice wood, and I'm disassembling them and making some really fun things in our backyard with them.
You can make some crazy shit out of IBCs, right?
Yeah.
Like wild stuff. You just got to get creative with the flat panels. IBCs were a common feature when dealing with any type of off-grid situation. Everything from using them for your septic system to using them for bringing in fresh water and stuff, right? The coolest one I worked with, this dude, I have no idea where this dude got his money from, but it was pretty much fucking bottomless as far as I could tell. Because every time I was like, he's like, well, we're going to bring in fresh water in this big IBC tote. We'll use the tractor to lift it up onto the thing up here, and then we can use the water for the weekend. And while I was building the place, while we were working on the place, we had full run of like 300 acres of just virgin fucking mountainside. And it was tons of fun just to wander around out there, but I was there to work, so I didn't get to do a lot of it. But I did enough of it to stumble across a spring that was uphill on the backside of the property over there, 75 yards away, just bubbling up ice cold fucking water that you could keep milk good in. And I was like, okay. And he mentioned that, and I was like, dude, you got an artesian well right up the hill. And he's like, well, what would it take to get that down here? I was like, about 120 foot worth of fucking hose. Like, get me some pipes, bro. And what we ended up doing was we brought it in, and he was actually building a shooting range. And so he actually called up the folks that were supposed to come lay in the groundwork for the shooting range to verify where they were putting it so that this could be put in before that. And we buried the line from like 80 feet above this level all the way down to where it bubbled up from the bottom of the water tower, and then ran out of an overflow off to a little creek that ran out of the edge of the place. It looked like it was a totally natural thing, and you couldn't. And that shit was ice cold, dude. Like when you walked over next to where the IBC was sitting up on its little fake water tower stand, water like condensation. I'm in Georgia; it's humid as fuck. Condensation is raining off that son of a bitch.
Yeah, I live in two different worlds. I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear the chickens in the background, but I actually live in Orange County, and I live in one of the non-HOA neighborhoods where I can have chickens in my backyard. That's not allowed in Orange County, California. But the other world I live in is in Asia, right? So I've got 4 properties over there, and we built a couple of houses there. We had to dig for our well, which we got. We've got our septic tanks. The only thing we're importing, and it costs a lot of money to get the freaking wires in, was power. Even though we have generators and solar, it's not enough to generate enough power. So, and in Asia, power is not like it doesn't always stay on. So it's always good to have a backup. So like I live these two lives where I live like there's a grocery store at Albertsons, and then I go to the other side of the world and I have a septic tank that I have to flush out. I've got well water that we filter, power problems, but I love it more there. I love those problems. To me are actually good problems. Like it's
They're
problems
solvable.
of your land. It's not like the electric companies failing, the plumbing companies failing. Like these are the problems of your land, and you get to maintain it. And
Yeah,
we used to really have that. I really miss that.
this place was built on an area that was all what we call sugar sand. It's basically beach sand, 30 foot deep. There's nothing solid to attach anything to. And the dude comes in and he wants to put up cinder blocks. And I didn't know at the time that he was bringing me in on like one of his little planning trips or whatever. And so we walked through and had this big, long conversation about where things are going to go, how things are going to be, and how he's going to bring in a slab and this and that and the other. And I was like, how deep does this sand go? It's like 30 foot. We did a test well over there to check for water, and we got 30 foot of sand. And I mumbled something, and I can't remember the quote, something about people who build their houses on sand. And he's like, well, what do you suggest? I said, red clay. You put you a big old slab of red clay down, you can put anything on top of it, it'll never move. And he did. He pulled about 15 foot of sugar sand out of that place, laid in a slab of red clay about 12 foot thick, and then started pouring concrete and building his building. Absolutely genius. Bottomless paycheck.
I would have never thought of that.
Well, I grew up where I live is red clay. When we lay a foundation, we just hammer the fucker flat and put a brick on it. That's good. But it's because of what the ground is made of here. You can't do that in most places. So, like, I mean, I don't know. I've always really dug the whole camping off-grid concept, but at the same time, convenience is one of those things that it just is required at this point. I'm fucking old. I used to when I was a kid, like. My parents had decided, or whatever, my dad or whoever, my uncle, cousin, whoever was going to go camping would decide they were going camping. They'd call me up and be like, hey, we're going camping out at this place. And I'd be like, cool, I want to go. And they're like, great. I'm going to bring the trailer by and drop it off. You take it out there, because I usually lived closer to wherever they were camping than most people. And so they'd go ahead and pack up a bunch of shit for the week or whatever. Drop it off at the house. I'd go out a day or two early and break all that shit out, set up about half the camp. Usually have some shit cooked before they come home.
Nice.
But the reason, and a lot of people miss this, the reason that is because I was the first person in the woods, which means I was able to go catch all the easy to catch fish and hunt all the easy to hunt game and eat all the easy to eat meals. And then everybody else showed up, and I'd never scared everything the fuck off. They were just fucked. They'd sit around get drunk as piss.
Man. Not cool.
I don't know, man. You come in and there's 30 pounds of venison being smoked on an upright smoker next to your fire, and you might get over how uncool it is. Oh, and I got some rice and fish cooked.
I don't even got to eat it. I just want to be around to smell it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, but being able to do that type of shit, it's something that I didn't realize was not common until I ran across Boy Scouts, and they had to explain to me what the Boy Scouts were. And they're like, well, they teach you self-reliance and self-dedication and all of this stuff. And I was like, okay, I got you. What does that have to do with camping? They're like, well, if you can do this and you can do that and you can do this, then you're more reliant, you can rely on yourself more and all that stuff. And I was like, my pops was kind of insistent.
Yeah.
I had to be able to do all of that.
Yeah.
But then the choice I was given really was doing stuff like that, staying home, which means working, or doing the school stuff, right? No, and the school stuff was so brain dead fucking boring and useless. Yeah. And staying at home just meant that I planted more fucking plants and chased more pigs and whatever.
Yeah. And I'm still.
I decided I would rather be. Well, no, I mean, none of this really got me in trouble. I was always too busy for that silliness, really.
I get bored real easy.
You see, I had farmer neighbors, and on one farm I worked taking care of horses and shit, and on the other one I worked doing like hay baling and stuff like that, fixing tractors and whatnot. Yeah. You say cool, but it makes no sense when you do the math on it, and you would think that I was on some kind of drugs. But the fact was that I didn't sleep a lot when I was young. The older I get, the more I sleep. And back when I was 13, 14, I slept around an hour every couple of days.
No, I'm the opposite. I used to get my sleep on back in the day.
That being said, every 3 or 4 days, I would sleep for 8 hours. But for the most part, I'd just wander around and do stuff till I got tired, go home, go to sleep, get up and go do stuff until I had to go to school.
That's what I do now. I just be like, I'll go to sleep whenever I feel like it. Like 2 days go by, like, have you slept today? Are you okay? You need to go to sleep. I'm like, oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's what I mean when I tell people that I was a much more aggressive, much more petulant and irritable person when I was younger. I was much more mean. And the
But you
fact
didn't
is,
get a lot of sleep.
no, I didn't at all. But I couldn't sleep. It wasn't that I just didn't get sleep. It wasn't that I didn't have the opportunity. It was just that I didn't sleep. I wasn't sleepy. But then again, I mean, according to my parents and both my brother and sister, they swear that I didn't sleep for the first 2 months that I was home.
Probably not.
Some
people are just wild like that.
They
Some people
swear
are
it,
just
man.
wild like that, where they just don't sleep that much or hardly at all. And then other people, like, it seems like all they do is fucking sleep.
The first time I stopped crying, my dad took me to the hospital.
Yeah, something's wrong
And
with
they were
you.
like, he's asleep. He's like, no, that kid doesn't sleep. They're like, no, he's asleep. He's fine. So, and then it was like another 5 days before I went back to sleep. And that's how it functioned. As when I was like 5, dude, that shit drove me crazy because I had to go lay down when everybody else did. But I didn't sleep. I just had to lay there in bed and kick my feet around and toss and turn and sit there.
Especially at 5. Oh my God, that would suck so bad.
Around the time I turned 9, my brother and my sister kind of beseeched my parents to figure out something I could fucking do that wasn't, either in a room or sharing a wall because I couldn't sleep. And finally they were just like, well, if you're not going to sleep, you can stay up and read and that'll be fine. And that solved everything. Just a tiny little light and being able to read. I'd read until 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, go to sleep for an hour or 2, and then go to school. And that was more regular than the other bullshit. Not long after that, I was able to go do the hay baling and working and stuff.
And all that stuff.
That really solved all the rest of the problems.
Then you'd be on a normal sleep schedule, kind of.
Well, I mean, I just wasn't present to bug the shit out of people who were trying to sleep.
Yeah.
Because what I do, and this actually took quite a bit of convincing. I think my dad had to go talk to the guy. What I would do is come home from school, do whatever homework I had to do, and then go fuck off until around bedtime. And when everybody else would go to bed, I'd walk, half mile down the road that way and go load hay bales on a truck until it was time to until I either got tired or whatever.
Yeah.
If I can tag them out and leave, document how many of them I'd gotten, and I'd get paid at the end of the week. So, And if I couldn't do that because it was raining or what the fuck ever, I'd walk a half mile in the other direction down the road and go work on fucking tractors and shit, change oil and spark plugs and shit. Just basic stuff, nothing special. Just had a bunch of equipment
that needed to be fixed. Shit there's always something that needs to be fixed if you live on a farm. Always.
Well, this was a really weird one. This is what got me into my whole crystal days. Because the guy I got the job from died a couple of years after me doing it. And the guy who inherited the place didn't know anything about the fact that he said he thought he had what do they call them? The guys who make the fucking shoes, not gnomes, but something else. Anyway, he thought he had fucking brownies or something that were coming in and fixing the tractors. Right. I mean, I'd been doing it for 2 years. I'd been coming in and maintaining everything, and the fucking timesheet and everything was right there on the door. And after a couple of months of not getting paid, I went and asked him. I was like, dude,
where's my money, man?
Where's so-and-so? He died.
Man?
Oh shit. So I've been doing this job. And he's like, you're the one doing it. When the fuck do you do it? I'm like, at night. He's like, so you're sneaky as hell, dude. And I was like, well, the old man didn't want to be bothered with it. And so I come and changed oil and spark plugs and check tires, put air in tires, all kinds of little shit.
Yeah.
This dude didn't have the cash to pay me, and so he started giving me rocks. And he told me it was ice, and I didn't know what it was, but he told me it was ice, and so I stuck it in my freezer.
Sweet baby Jesus.
And that went on for almost a year. You know, I didn't know what it was. I mean, how was I supposed to know? It was
No,
yummy.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm just saying, like, the shit that people be doing before
Right?
and then after. Like your whole mentality, your perspective, the way you get up every day, put your pants on, all that shit is so drastically different, man. I was just talking about that the other day with a friend, like the way I was before drugs versus the way I am after drugs and being on psychiatric drugs. Because sometimes I'll just be tripping on those drugs. Like sitting around on my meds, coloring in my coloring book, listening to some shit about aliens, watching one of your live streams, just giggling, yelling at the TV. Yeah. Till like 5 a.m. Yeah. Because it's not normal to be awake
You know what I'm
during the
gonna
day.
do tomorrow, and I'm gonna hold you to this. We're gonna compare the two Red Dawn movies,
Uh-huh.
and there are several distinct differences between them.
Uh-huh.
Like the first movie is more. Neither one are exactly war movies, to be clear.
Huh. I thought
If you
that it
watch
was. I didn't
them,
know there were two. I didn't know there were two.
sure, yeah, no, there's the Patrick Swayze one, which was done I think in the early '80s, and
Yeah.
the what's his name, Chris Hemsworth, I think he
Oh
did
God,
one.
really? I'm gonna check that out.
2012,
Uh-huh.
maybe 2016, something like that. Anyway, it wasn't a bad movie. It's not. It catches a lot of flack, but then again, it was literally competing with some of the best actors on earth at the
Right.
time the first Rebel Dawn was made. And
Right.
also, the actors involved in the first Rebel Dawn really believed in the script. They really believed that it was going to be something more than just a movie. Even though it bombed when it hit the theaters,
Damn.
the actors, having looked at the script, knew that it was going to hit some kind of a freaking note in the American psyche, some kind of how.
Yeah.
And so they
There was
really,
no- yeah.
because take C. Thomas Howell, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
C. Thomas Howell, Patrick Swayze, fucking with Charlie Sheen. If you line those folks up in a movie today, they'd buy the script and not ask what it was.
Right.
They
I
wouldn't
was
even
gonna say
care.
I would. I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, "What are we watching?
Right?
Let's go."
What are we doing? Film it. Start filming. Start and roll them.
Oh yeah, exactly. The Outsiders was good. The Outsiders.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like the same people who were involved in the greatness of The Outsiders was also involved in the greatness of the first Red Dawn.
Yeah.
The second Red Dawn, and I think a lot of it can be summed up in the first scenes on both sides. In the first Red Dawn, the very first scene is a group of kids in a class and paratroopers start falling out of the sky, right?
Oh shit.
A teacher walks outside to go see what's going on and they shoot him. And from that point until the point where it becomes a guerrilla action, it's basically a monster movie and the invading forces are the monster.
Right.
They're running, and everywhere they run into more paratroopers, and everywhere they go, and they're just trying to get away. It's not until the second act that you start getting into things where they're fighting back.
Right.
The second movie does this very differently. The paratroopers come in, and there's a fast-paced chase scene where it's basically like a car commercial for old square-body trucks.
Right.
And you've got Chris Hemsworth driving around, and he's back from the military in Iraq, and he's got problems, you can tell. and there's the romantic interest at the bar that's set up before everything starts. It's a very different feel to the movie, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Especially if you got the girlfriend in the bar type of shit going on in there too.
Right, and that's the thing is like the first Red Dawn doesn't really give a lot of lip service to that. There's some chicks involved, they're present, but they're not really brought into the whole situation until they come in to get supplies. And the guy who's going to give them the supplies is like, hey, I know y'all ain't got no money, but I need you to do me a favor and I'll give you anything you need. And they're like, what the fuck? And he goes and opens up a space under his house, and there's 2 chicks in there. He's like, I need you to take these with you. You got to take 2 chicks with you. And it's like, no, dude, we're not picking up strays. That's not what we're here doing. We're trying to fight a war. And it's like, look, that girl knows more about camping than anyone on earth, and that one can field strip a deer and a rifle. And they were like, fine, okay. And they get the supplies that they need, and it turns into a war of attrition, like a true guerrilla style thing in the first movie. In the second movie, they pretty much start off at Jump Street with a turncoat in the group that turns in the cabin, and that leaves them stuck living in a cave. And the situation is more dire because they're actually located closer to the town in question. In the first movie, it was a town in Colorado, and in the second movie, it's a town in like Oregon or Washington or something.
Yeah.
These are very different cultures, is all I'm saying there.
Yeah.
The second one is more of a coming of age film involving like all of the stresses of being a youth, but at the same time having to deal with like a forced invasion of your homeland type thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a guy tell me one time, and I don't know how much of this I believe or how much I agree with, but he told me that that Red Dawn was the most Russian American movie ever made.
I've heard that too. I've heard that before.
That it does not have a happy ending. Almost everybody in that unit fucking dies. Yeah. It's not a happy ending, but it ends on a memorial that's being made to honor the people who had fought the guerrilla campaign that kept forces tied up in Colorado for 3 years while the American forces advanced across the Mississippi and slowly took ground. Had they been able to take Colorado is a road hub in the area, and it would have allowed them to move tanks in from Mexico directly into the eastern U.S. without batting a fucking eye. But because these guys were out here starting shit constantly, they never did utilize that thoroughfare because they knew the Wolverines would be taking out every third tank. That doesn't carry from Washington State.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if you're going to do that type of transition, you should probably have made it like a beach town or some deep water harbor somewhere where you could really fuck some shit up and make a bigger movie out of it through, a combination of explosions, CGI, and some well-timed fucking lines.
Yeah. Drag it out a little bit with some boom, boom.
Well,
a love story. The love story.
One of the issues is the whole love story aspect in this thing. In the new one, both the older guy's love interest and the younger guy's love interest both get folded into the unit, and they're part of all the shenanigans that's taking place. In the original, the 2 women weren't love interest at all. None of that happened until later, after they'd been fighting together for like a fucking year and a half, and each of them had 70, 80 fucking kills. They were long in the tooth in the world of they were not dating, is my point. These women weren't here as eye candy or none of that. and that's kind of what it feels like in the second movie. Is the women
Yeah.
are there as eye candy. First of all, they're very lovely, very handsome women,
I'm very
very
handsome.
very acceptable.
What you'd expect, I guess.
Well, I mean, in the first one, it was Molly Ringwald and what's her fuck. They were very, very sexy girls, but they were high school students. That was the thing is like the girls were high school students. They weren't sex objects at all. Right. And then you turn around and in the modern one, it's Korea that they're fighting against. Right.
Right.
So that's a little different. That has entirely different ramifications.
Yeah.
Because it's a combination of Korea, Nicaragua, Cuba, and a few other countries that have like thrown together an alliance capable of invading the US or whatever. And it doesn't make any sense at all.
But it's got Chris Hemsworth in it.
I'm pretty sure it's Chris Hemsworth. It's one of them there Hemsworth guys.
Well, either way, either one of them is fine with me. Yeah.
Sure. And that's another feature. That's another bit that's different. In the first movie, these were just hometown guys. One of the guys was starting a construction company, and he was kind of the boss. And that's how he ended up being in charge. Patrick Swayze was the boss of something. It never really clarifies what. One of the guys refers to him as boss, and everybody just lets him be in charge. In the second movie, the guy's coming back from like Iraq or Afghanistan or something. And, so he's already a Marine.
Right.
And Marines know how to cascade train. This is exactly their fucking shtick. And I always felt like, given that comparison, the differences in techniques and methods and the skills that are exhibited, the Marine does do a lot more sneaky dad shit, right?
Yeah.
The treachery in old men, right? But in the first movie, everything that they do was the guy that was the Patrick Swayze character was so worried about actually harming one of the people involved that he wouldn't do any hits that had any chance of anyone taking flight at all.
Oh, wow.
And so if it wasn't sealed up tight as a steel drum at the start, it was called off because they only had 8 people. And if one died, they might not be able to continue to fight.
All right. That's
In
pretty
the second movie, there's a couple of add-ins that happen where it's, these 8 people at first and then the girls and then other people join. And then, it turns into something of a movement. I don't know. I don't really feel that. That doesn't feel, you can't trust them is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It don't sit right. But
Who
can
we
you
got in
trust
chat?
anybody nowadays? I have no idea. I need to
I
look at
don't
my
either.
phone.
The last person to comment was Vibe. And ain't nobody sent $1, so we're not getting an extension.
No.
And I did
Are
have
there
some
people
videos
in chat?
lined up.
Or
Do
what are
what?
they doing? I said, is there people actually in chat?
There were, when we were talking to Vibe, there were people in the chat. And then he left and everybody else left. Now we got like 5. And I think they're all bots. Might be Dennis just listening to us on a few different devices.
Probably so.
I was kind of thinking about doing some panel hopping, but about the time I went live, the people that I know host panels either stopped being live or
on a Saturday? That's odd.
Well, I mean, they went live like before I did, like an hour before I did, hour or 2.
Yeah, but don't they usually stay on later?
Some of them, some do. Yeah, what's up, Scotty? I had faith in you, brother. I knew you was there somewhere, creeping.
Yeah, I figured that. Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. Is about to go right to the refrigerator and then get a seat. Yeah. It's never a bad time to raid the refrigerator.
I mean, before it gets stocked is probably the worst time. Ooh,
Yeah.
good news. I have orange blossoms, full on blooming. Yeah, Scotty Waddles is a robot, and because it was the heat's doing what it's doing. It's swinging hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. There's no bees around,
Right.
so I'm out there with a fucking paintbrush, inseminating all of my fucking orange blossoms by hand.
Nice.
What do y'all
I bet
think
a lot
about
of
that
them
shit? But listen, if you don't put in the work, you don't get nothing out of it.
The bees are coming soon, though.
Welcome to space. What were you expecting? It's a dangerous place. Thank you for investing. Go there for your rota, there for your orders. Fill up these quotas, we'll bill for your quarters. Report to your foreman, but watch for marauders. Cause if you get eaten, there's fees for your mourners.
Prosperity's there in the care of magnates, and halcyon heaven awaits.
Did you think it was supposed to look like the poster? It mostly does, oh, if you'd only read closer.
Just 10 short years to a new frontier. Snooze as you cruise and you'll wake up here.
You've been trapped